Perfection in any action is the union of the stillness and movement. Thinking, if you see, is an act of digging information from your past. If you see the nature of intuition, it's always of the future. Intuition will never kick in when you are thinking. The nature of the present moment is very uncertain. And it is this uncertain nature of reality which creates a fear of unknown. When you rest your five senses, that is when you get the taste of your awareness. Creativity is simply embracing your authenticity, which is an act of dare, it's an act of courage. Detachment does not mean having no ambition. Detachment simply means being free from fear and greed. You're not a doer in life. You are a medium for things to happen through you. You are born enlightened. You suffer with the notion that you are not. Respected Madhubha Bakshiji and Dr. Gaur Banerjee, thank you for facilitation. And I'm very, very happy and grateful to be here to express my views and my thoughts on the new book that I have just launched, The Unbecoming. We all are familiar with the term becoming, but the unbecoming sounds a little opposite of what is this concept called the unbecoming. And I thought it's very important, especially when you all are at the crossroads, where very soon perhaps you all would be entering into a corporate space, start working for yourself. That with my own experience and little bit of awareness practices, I can tell you that how one can invite wisdom in one's decision making, which becomes a very big role, because how far you go in your corporate journey would depend upon the kind of decisions that you will make in your professional pursuits, and how to invite creativity in your day-to-day actions, because sometimes our work routine gets very monotonous and we don't allow a fresh perspective to seep in, and how to be more creative and fresh in the same work that we've been doing continuously and repeatedly.
Please, Levi.
So the book, The Unbecoming, is a transformative philosophy in the guise of a fiction, in which I'm trying to explain what is the state of flow. When in any action, your concentration reaches to the peak and your inner spontaneity blossoms. This is a state where your awareness takes charge of a situation, and it almost like intuitively you know what is the next step coming in. But that state of perfection in any action can come only when you practice stillness. What is a perfection in any action, be it in sports, be it in your day-to-day decision making, be it in music, art, craft, any action that you are involved in? The perfection lies in the union of stillness and movement. If some of you have played sports or you've experienced martial arts, karate, or any action which requires movement, you would know that the grace in your movement comes only when there is stillness in it. If there is no stillness in your moves, it will look like a very restless action, an action which no mindfulness in it. So once you imbibe stillness, and this is the concept that when your stillness marries this cosmic movement, this is also the energy of Shiva and a Shakti. Shiva is the silent observer, the stillness aspect. And Shakti is this cosmic movement which is giving birth to every moment that you're experiencing right now. And perfection in any action is the union of the stillness and movement. So when you invite your stillness, your silent observer in any action, it will result into perfection. But when there is no stillness in any action, it's just a restless space to be in. This is what the book talks about through a journey of a cricketer. And you have to understand Shakti appears only when there is stillness in you. The true perfection, it's like a camera lens. If you move the camera, the image would be blurred. It's only when you go still, that's the Shiva domain, the stillness aspect, a silent observer, that the Shakti appears. Now the camera is still, the autofocus will work and the picture will appear. So this is what the state of perfection is. Also at this point, it becomes very, very important for all of you to understand the difference between intellect and wisdom. Now, the modern education always confuses between the two and think of them to be the same. But intellect is your cognitive ability to comprehend a subject, memorize it, and make it a part of your experience. So, somebody's resume is their intellect. I know, the notion that I know is intellect, what you have already experienced and what is already known to you. Now, wisdom is the journey from known to the knower. We are mental beings, right? We indulge with a lot of thinking, contemplation. But there is another faculty which is often very underused, which is called we are also experiential beings. An experience is something you can do when you're not engaging with your thoughts. Now, if you pay a little more attention, I can take you the difference between what is thinking and intuition. Because thinking, if you see, is an act of digging information from your past, something that you already know. If you're present to me, try thinking right now. You will notice you're not in the moment. If you're thinking somebody throws water at you, you'll not be able to see it. So come to look at it. What is thinking? You are trying to find a solution of the present or the future from your past. This is what thinking is. That's why it also feels very draining sometimes. You think for 1 hour, you will have no energy left. And if you don't find a solution by then you will procrastinate it and leave it for the next day. Now, there is a science called intuition.
Yep.
If you see the nature of intuition, it's always of the future. But the intuition will never kick in when you are thinking. So this is what the difference between intellect and wisdom is. Intellect is your mental faculty, an art of thinking, what you've already experienced. And for wisdom, you have to become a seeker. You have to come into the present moment to experience a fresh perspective, an intuitive perspective, which is always of the future. But that requires attention span. That requires being fully present into this moment. Only then you invite intuitive wisdom, a fresh perspective to a situation. Otherwise, we become very, very comfortable revolving around what is already known to us. And using observation almost feels very uncomfortable. Would you like to notice why we don't engage with the present moment and why we are habitual to always revolve around thinking? It's because the nature of the present moment is very uncertain. And it is this uncertain nature of reality which creates a fear of unknown. This fear is not real, but it's illusionary. It is same like when you go to a party and when you see 5 familiar faces, you feel comfortable. Because we love to revolve around what is already known to us. And we hardly use our experiencing faculty, our observation. And observation will kick in only when you learn how to walk on unknown trajectories without the fear of unknown. And invite the experiencer in you. So it becomes a very, very important journey to realize what is intellect and what is wisdom. And from mental beings, trying to be experiential beings and invite a fresh perspective into the situation. And so there is a chapter in my book which talks about rest in action, which is the same concept what we discussed right now, stillness in your action. Because our 5 senses are designed to interact with the outside world. They cannot make you see the consciousness which is within you, the awareness which is inside you, or you call it a God consciousness, whatever name we are used to calling it. It is hidden under your sense perception. Because your 5 senses help you interact with the outside world. So the first step is to learn how to rest your 5 senses. If you see any meditation, what are they doing? They're closing the strongest sense which is interacting with the outside world, which is your eyes.
Yeah.
Then you look for a quiet room where there's no distraction of the sound. You're not touching anything, you're not eating anything. So it's an art of resting your 5 senses. Meditation, you don't do it, it happens to you. when you reach that state of rest of your five senses. And when all senses are engaged, it's a distraction, it's not a concentration. So, for a cricketer who is the lead character of this book, sound is a distraction. There are almost 80, 90,000 people shouting your name. And you have to watch a ball coming at 140 kilometers at you. You have 0.33 seconds to react, respond. So thinking cannot be present here. And if any sense is overactive, it's a distraction. So when you rest your five senses, that is when you get the taste of your awareness, because awareness is within you. Senses cannot make you see within you. They always interact with the outside world. And when you give charge to your awareness of your five senses, this is what in Sanskrit also they say, or in Hindi, Indriyon ko apne vash mein rakho. Now, who rules the senses? It has to be awareness. Because if your awareness is not sitting on the driving seat of your five senses, then your five senses will take command from your memory triggered responses. This is what conditioning is. This is what loop is. This is the reason why people can't come out of their habitual practices where they're making mistakes. They want to get rid of it, but becomes almost impossible to come out of this loop. Senses have only one role, that is to receive command for any action. Now there are two command centers. If one is the awareness, when the command is not coming from the space of awareness, your senses will by default take it from your memory triggered responses. And that is when you will be ruled by your habits, by your conditioning. So it becomes very important to learn how to be aware and how to invite wisdom in your day-to-day decision making. Like in English, they say that sometimes in order to be smart, you forget to be wise. And wisdom is something which is universal in nature. Your cognitive ability is something which you are born with. Intellect differs from person to person. How sharp is your cognitive ability is something which is a gift of nature to you. But wisdom is universally available. The moment you become a seeker, come into the moment and allow your observation. See, nature has given each soul some very beautiful gifts. But we don't tend to look inward to recognize it. For many of us, they remain dormant. We never care to look inward in what is within us because we are too busy projecting outward. The becoming that we talk about is how you like to see yourself in the eyes of the world. And unbecoming is first settling with who you are. Unbecoming is a journey which makes you realize you're already complete within. You suffer with a notion that you're not complete. And becoming becomes a pursuit of finding that missing link. And then you try to find your identity through roles, professions, career, tags, designation. But it's a very limited way of being because your idea of self-worth will always come from outside, how the world treats you. Wherein your idea of self-worth should always come from within you. And if that state is not achieved, you'll constantly try to please your outside environment and you will never be present to the gifts the nature has already given to you. So the journey from intellect to wisdom is simply to invite you to look inward into those gifts, those creative gifts given to every soul. But we never care to look within to realize what it is. And creativity is very important. We're going to touch the subject of creativity. How to be creative in your any process that you're indulged in, be it your projects right now at college, or once you go into a corporate world, whatever assignments you've been given, how to be creative. So again, creativity is simply embracing your authenticity, which is an act of dare, it's an act of courage. Because the world around you will constantly judge you. And if you start caring about how people are judging you or perceiving you, your honest expressions will get blocked. Your authenticity will get compromised. And if your authenticity is getting compromised, you'll never ever be creative. The reason is, what is creativity? What appears creative to the world or to the viewers or to the audience is something which is very fresh, very unique, and also very personal to the person who's displaying that creativity. So it cannot be a product of projection, imitation, or pretense. It has to be absolutely authentic. So when you develop the courage to embrace your own authenticity, the most honest expression that comes out of you, be it in your speech, be it in your decision making, be it in art, sports, music, whatever that expression might be, when it is coming from the honest space, this is what the world perceives as being creative. So the first step is to embrace your own authenticity. In simple words, if you be authentic, there is no way you'll not be creative. So these are the messages which come from the book. And I'm very open. I'm sure many of you would have questions regarding these things. So I'm very, very open to have an interactive session with you all. Any question that you have in your mind, you're more than welcome to throw it. So I leave it to all of you now. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Please. In the state of flow without getting impacted by your external environment. It can happen when you practice detachment. Now, detachment is a word which scares many people. We think detachment is only for monastic life or a saintly figure. Detachment does not mean having no ambition. Detachment simply means being free from fear and greed. When you are absolutely present to any task, what robs your attention from the present moment is the influence of fear and greed. Now, if I have to explain you from the context of sports, when a batsman is playing well and his attention is on the task, what will take his attention away is either the influence of fear or a greed. So, when a fear takes in, he will immediately think of the outcome. He would think that what if I can't score a century today? Maybe I'll not get selected for the next match. Now his attention has shifted from the present moment, from the task, from playing, to the fear of the outcome. Now his 100% performance can never come. His intuition will never come. His wisdom, which is an act of being 100% present to the situation, will not be invited because he immediately got influenced by fear, and fear has taken him away from this present moment. Greed does the same thing. When a batsman is playing well, and if a greed seeps in, he will become predetermined. He will not see what the situation is. He would force his desire into the present moment. Come to look at it. How many times we see the present moment either from the lens of our past or from an anticipation of how it should be. And that is when we miss the present moment. If I come into this moment looking for color green, I will miss the red color, I will miss the blue color, I will miss the yellow, and I'm not seeing a lot of what the moment has to offer because I'm too stuck looking for a color green. And this is our psychological way of being. We often come into the present moment with a preconceived desire of how it should be. Look at it right now, even now, many of us, why we are not engaging with this present moment is because we are looking for a moment better than this moment. Just test yourself. Why we are not in the moment? Because psychologically we are trained to look for a moment which is better than this moment. Now what we don't understand, that future that everybody aspires for is made of collection of these present moments. So when you are not engaging in this present moment, what kind of a future we are creating? What kind of a becoming we are creating? So that's why I say becoming is a byproduct of embracing the path of unbecoming. When you're not identifying, you're detached with roles and positions and actions you're indulged in. Because if you identify, then you limit yourself. It's like seeing color green. So when you're embracing the path of the unbecoming, you're not identifying with the roles. And this path of unbecoming makes you get present to the superpower which is within you. That is to take any shape or a form this present moment demands of you. That is what wisdom is.
So how do you assimilate this thought into the courtroom when you might know that the opposite side may not be the honest person standing across me?
Absolutely. So the thing is that if you get attached to the outcome, you will never be able to give the 200%. This is where I was explaining how fear and greed robs you. And greed, I was on that greed makes you predetermined. You, for a cricketer, he might think, okay, next ball I'm going to step on and hit it there. But it may not happen. The bowler may not ball it there. You're not seeing a reality. You're too attached to how you want the present moment to be. And you're out of it. You're not in the moment. So I would say this Maya has two weapons, fear and greed, to rob you of your attention span. We are constantly relating with our past, and basis that we are anticipating future. We are never in the moment. So if you be 100% in the moment and you're detached from the outcome, that is where a perfection state can come in. Because if you're attached in the outcome, then the fear of losing will immediately come. And if you are not seeing the moment for what it is, the greed might make blind you for not seeing the reality. And fear and greed are the same thing. Let me tell you, if you look deeply, there is no difference in fear and greed. What are you most greedy about? Things you are most fearful about. If you work on your fear, you will have no greed.
Yeah.
And the opposite is also true. If you work on your greed, you'll become fearless. So these are the two influences which often take away your attention span, and they show you a reality which is not the real version. It's a fictional version. That fear that you have will never occur. It's a fear of unknown. And that greed that you're seeing does not exist. It's your fictional imagination of how you want the present moment to be.
Serious.
I hope that answers. Thank you.
Michael put it. Is that thing not hold on order? Like cheese. In the beginning, you have stated that thinking, present, and intuition.
Yes, sir.
Present is in between thinking and intuition.
Yes.
So can you please relate it with the batsman playing in the field?
Yes.
This situation.
Like I gave you an example that when a batsman is batting and he's facing a ball which is coming at 140 kilometers at him, he has 0.33 seconds to see the bounce, the pace, the movement, and to hit it. It can't be a product of thinking. You have to be your intuitive best. Your muscle memory also takes in. And this is the space where you invite your awareness to take charge of the situation, which is the case with any decision making that you do in your day to day life. Just that professional sports becomes a very good medium to explain it because it is more action oriented. I wanted to talk more about what thinking and intuition is. And if the audience is mature enough, I can tell because I don't want to, if your attention span is not here, I'll rather do more damage than adding value to it. But as I said, that thinking is an act of digging information from your past. You're never in the moment. If you're thinking right now, you'll not be in the moment. So anything that takes you away from this moment, can it show you a true picture? It will only and only fuel your ego. I know what you've already experienced. Intuition is always of the future, but you can try. Intuition never kicks in till the time you're thinking. It's only when you get tired of thinking, solutions come in a spur of a moment.
What happens then?
Look at any solution that has come. All the brilliant ideas have come in the form of a vision when people were in the moment. Be it Ramanujan's mathematical principles, they were visions. Be it Nikola Tesla's inventions, he used to get visions and start working on it. So it's an art of being available.
Well,
All the stress in the society comes because we relate ourselves as the doers. Because when you think of yourself as a doer, the stress of the outcome comes on you. And all I'm trying to say through this book is that you're not a doer in life.
most
You are a medium for things to happen through you. And for life energy to use you for creative pursuits, you need to come into the moment, be available to life. Only we can fail ourselves. Life never fails anybody. We are never available for life. We are so self consumed to be used as a medium for life to take us through creative journey of doing beautiful things. It's an art of coming into the moment. It's an art of being available. Thinking only drains you. It doesn't give you any solution. And if you see in a board meeting when 10 people are contemplating over a problem, trying to find a solution to it, one person after half an hour of deliberation will come up with a very simple answer. Everybody there would be thinking it was such a simple thing. Why I couldn't think? They couldn't think because they were thinking. They were trying to find a solution of the future from their past. And this person got tired of thinking. In a spur of a moment, the solution came. How many times it has happened that you are stressing yourself, trying to find a solution and draining all your energy, and the solution never comes. And probably when you're driving, in a spur of a moment, the solution comes. Or when you're under a shower, the solution comes. So rather than indulging into an act of thinking, if you keep the problem in your subconscious and be in the moment, the solution will come in 10 minutes. But we'll drain ourselves by the process of thinking. Thinking, in a way, I mean, it would be right to say that we've become a mental being. We have forgotten how to be experiential beings. Experiencing the moment invites intuition. Even intuition is a very misunderstood term. If I want to go deeper into it, if you see what is intuition, our attention span is so weak that we very accidentally come into the moment. And we see reality in glimpses when we are in the moment. Because 90% of the time, we're either relating with our past or anticipating our future. We're never in the moment. So accidentally you come into the moment and see reality in glimpses. And when next day something of that sort happens, you say, oh, I had an intuition yesterday about it. It was not intuition. Accidentally you came into the moment, tired of thinking and anticipating. And in that reality, you saw the glimpse of a reality. And next day, because our attention span is so weak, we see reality in glimpses. And these glimpses we call it intuition. The much more simpler name to intuition is reality itself, when you train your attention span to see the moment the way it is. But it's an act of dare, because the present moment is uncertain and it invites the fear of unknown. And you love to revolve around what is already known. So again, to come into this moment empty-handed, as a receiver, as a medium, is an act of courage. You'll have to trust the present moment that is going to guide you with what is required. So that's why faith and trust becomes very important. Whether you practice faith and trust through religion or your own self-belief, because if your faith is weak, you will immediately go back to the dominant way of exercising thinking and revolving around what is already known to you.
Yes.
Actually.
But it's nice.
Good morning,
Thank you.
sir. I have a question.
Sure, dear.
As you said, the process of unbecoming truly starts once we are truly aware of who we have become as a person. So, guessing that there is no timeline of that, like somewhere the process of becoming starts actually, or unbecoming starts, does any sort of identity crisis happens once we truly begin with the process of unbecoming?
See, the problem happens because of our nature of identifying with things. We love to find meaning into everything. If you see your core nature, you are close to reality itself. The ultimate nature of reality is a flow, it's a movement. The philosophers talk about being in that state of flow, right? In your action. What is flow? It's a cosmic movement which is impermanent. Do you agree that life is impermanent?
Yeah.
And it's constantly changing? Now, if you like to identify with anything, you're immediately out of the moment. It's an art of taking any shape or a form the present moment demands of you. There's a very popular clipping by Bruce Lee where he says, become like a water, my friend. The water can take any shape, anything that you put into it. You put it into a glass, it becomes a glass. You put it in a jug, it becomes a jug. This is your core nature. That is the power you already have within. See, Advaita Vedanta, it's a very important saying, and Swami Sarpriyanandaji has said it very beautifully. That Advaita says that you are born enlightened. You suffer with a notion that you are not. And spirituality is a journey to take away that notion away from you, and you realize you're already complete. The sense of always identifying yourself through career and profession is what is limiting you, because you put yourself into that box of that identity. This is me. What is ego? It's your past experiences and the choices that you have made. It gives you an idea, this is me. But come to look at it, can you be your past choices? Can you only be limited to your past experiences? You're much beyond that. But you yourself draw your strength and weakness out of what you have experienced. And we try, because we love to revolve around what is known, we love to know who we are. And we give ourselves an identity. This is me. And we always play within the boundary. We never let a fresh perspective to come in. So identification is what robs you of being that fluid energy, of doing anything that the present moment demands you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, dear.
Yes.
So, so I have a question. You mentioned about being aware and sensitive as a married and not also come to fear and easily. So how do you propose we start doing that? Like if I think I'm overthinking things, how do I give myself back to the situation and not succumb to overthinking?
Beautiful. So, if you see any form of meditation, and I'm not asking you to start meditation, it sometimes does not appeal to everybody, especially the age that you all are in. But you can always get into an activity which demands your 100% attention. That's why I've used sports, because it makes your engagement with the present moment also very entertaining for you. Right? Music, poetry, writing, reading, any action that trains you to be an experiencer, which invites your 100% attention. Now, let me also tell you the concept of space and time, because quantum physics now talks about that time is an illusion. There is only this present moment, because you cannot measure the length of a present moment. Past and future we have created. Otherwise, can you measure the length of a present moment? It is eternal, right? It's infinite. It is this present moment and the next present moment. And all that exists is the present moment. So if you will see any action that demands your 100% attention, the concept of space and time immediately fades away. How? When you're talking to your best friend, you will realize you have no idea of time. Maybe after 4 hours of interaction, you'll say, oh God, it's been 4 hours we are talking. There was no idea of the time. Maybe you're in the most crowded place like a shopping mall. You will lose the concept of space also. You're so involved and engrossed. So, and time is a very experiential phenomena. Two people giving same examination for 3 hours will experience time very differently. One person might finish it in 2 hours and say, oh, there was so much of time. The other person might know all the answers, but still struggling to the last minute because he's experiencing time very differently. So what makes time go faster for you is the lack of engagement with the present moment. People age faster when they are not using their attention span. Time moves faster for people who are not engaged in the present moment. The moment you start engaging with the present moment, the time will slow down experientially for you. You will experience it. That's why people say Rohit Sharma, it appears he has a lazy elegance. It appears that he has few extra seconds than other batsmen, which is actually true, because his engagement with the present moment in that action of batting is much higher than how you and me will see a 140-kilometer ball coming at us. So what makes time move faster is the lack of engagement with it. The time that you experience here on this planet, the moment you go out of the space, it changes. So it's a very experiential phenomena. And this is one sign for everybody. If you have to find what career is best suited for you, come to look at those things which makes you lose the concept of space and time because you're so involved in it. Any activity which invites your 100% attention, concept of space and time will slowly slow down for you. That's one of the ways to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.